Welcome to the Folktale Project. This is Dan Schulz. Today we have our final Norwegian folktale of the week, translated once again by our good friend Simon Hughes at norwegianfolktales.blogspot.com. This is one of those very special tales where we see a normally witty, wily, and clever creature being completely out-clevered. This is the cock and the fox. Once upon a time, a cock stood on a dung heap and crowed and flapped its wings. Then the fox came up to him. "Good day," said the fox. "I did hear you crow," he said. "But can you stand on one leg and crow and blink like your father did?" said Mikkel. "I can, both good and well," said the cock, and he stood on one leg, but he blinked only with one eye, and when he had done it, then he preened himself and flapped his wings as if he had done something great. "That was beautiful," said the fox. "It was almost as beautiful as when the parson holds mass in church. But can you also stand on one leg and crow and blink with both eyes at the same time?" "I feel quite sure that you can," said Mikkel. "Your father, well, he was a real man," he said. "Oh, I can do it just as well," said the cock, and he stood on one leg and blinked with both eyes and crowed. In a flash, the fox jumped on him, took him by the neck, and threw him across his back so he could not cry out, and then ran off into the woods with him, fast as Mikkel managed to run. When they were under an old bare spruce, Mikkel threw the cock to the ground, placed his foot on his breast, and desired to take a bite. "You're not as God-fearing as your father," said the cock. "He crossed himself and prayed for his food," he said. Well, Mikkel did want to be God-fearing, goodness. So he released his hold and moved to lay his paws in a cross and read. Just like that, the cock flew into the tree. "You won't get away," said Mikkel to himself. Then he went away and came back with a couple of loose parchments left behind by some woodcutters. The cock looked and looked at what it might be. "What do you have there?" he said. "It's a letter I've received from the Pope in Rome," said the fox. "Won't you help me read it, for I am not so scholarly myself?" "I would like very much to, but I don't dare now," said the cock. "There comes a shooter. I'll sit behind the tree trunk. I see him, he said. When the fox heard the cock crowing about the shooter, he sprang off in the most convenient direction. And on that occasion, it was the cock who outwitted the fox. And that is The Cock and the Fox, again translated by Simon Hughes at norwegianfolktales.blogspot.com. It's really just a nice, light, fun story. Nobody dies, and you really get this occasion to laugh at the fox for being outwitted by the cock. This is Dan Schulz for the Folktale Project. Don't forget that you can subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, Overcast, anywhere you like to get your podcasts. You can also follow us on Twitter at Folktale Project. You can find us on Auto Radio, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, Spotify, anywhere that you like to listen. And you can always head over to folktaleproject.com, where you'll find a new story waiting for you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Next week, we are heading off to Africa, which is a region that I realized this week we've only barely touched upon. And we're going to make that right with 3 African folk tales, and who knows, we might even get a tale of Anansi in there. And as always, thank you so much for listening.